I recently had to entirely build a whole new set of scenes from scratch. Where's my just chalking scene? Oh, this is terrible. But I didn't want to do the whole infinite pictures thing, so this is a way to... I'm running 2 instances of OBS to prevent that. There it is. I'm just going to turn that off right now. So I had to rebuild an entirely new OBS setup for YouTube because not all the websites and assets and stuff that I use work for both Twitch and YouTube streaming. I started streaming over on YouTube. In order to move over from all the changes and stuff that Twitch is doing, they're being really dumb in some of the decisions they're making, especially taking away partners 70-30 split to 50-50. It's not right. I mean, all these companies just want all these creators and then they just want to take everything from them. So I entirely built a whole new setup for YouTube. That was a pain and a half to figure out how to do, what to do. And while I was doing it, building from scratch, I went ahead and completely reorganized everything. Everything looks so much nicer, so much cleaner. This is not unorganized. It's not unclean, but what I have now is superior, in my opinion. I thought this was good organization, so I've got my main stuff at top. So I basically try to do the thought process of most important at the top, most used at the top, and then work your way down. It's kind of like the principle that I kind of use. So I got my main broadcast, I got my duo screen. So my window capture screen would be here, and the person in Discord's screen would be here. This is just all of my captures. And then also, if you noticed, I've got my overlays, my pictures. So this is raw if I get angry about something, whatever. My octopus cam, all my PNGs. I got these in a group which is organized, so I can collapse that, and it cleans this up a lot nicer, and you can see everything in here as opposed to have to scroll down. I've got whatever this is. Oh, that's something that I don't typically use. What that does is it does the cover art, and it just gives you some nice text. And so if you notice on all of these, there's these like menu button looking icons to the left of these. So the 3 lines with the 3 dots, and that's because these are nested scenes. So these are what called nested. So if you go into the plus sign for your sources, there's a selection called scene. So you click on that, and if you notice the background black, background near black, be right back screen. So it's in alphabetical order. Blurps, currently playing, dice cam, duo scene, ending screen, face cam, game capture duo, just chatting background, all this. That's all these things over here, the scenes on the left of the sources. So you can go in here and pick any of these. Let's pick something like, do I have any images? So the overlays are not really gonna, okay, here we go. Scene.gg game cover art. So scene.gg is telling me the website it is and what it's doing. So I'm gonna pop that in here, and then that's how I put the game cover art on a lot of my stuff, is by doing this game cover art from scene.gg. It pulls it from the category, and then it puts it in here so I can use it as a image. So if you want to get rid of that, you can right click and go to remove. If you want to keep it but you just don't want to show it real quick, you can hit the little eye that allows viewing and hides it. If you want to make sure that it doesn't move around once you got it in the place that you want, you can hit the lock button, and then you can't move it. It will stay there forever. Since this was just an example, I'm going to go ahead and hit the delete key on my keyboard and hit yes. I want to get rid of that. So got my main broadcast, basically all my main stuff. So my main broadcast, which has my game capture in here at the bottom. I've got my stream elements overlay. I've got a Among Us cover code, and I just used my logo. The currently playing, which I already showed. I've got a group, which I'll show how to do that here in the process of making all this new stuff up. But you can double click that, and everything in here is in this folder. And you can even move this folder as a whole. So you can move everything that's in this group at a time. So this is really good at combining things that you want to keep together when you move them. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control Z to undo that, so it goes back, because I had it where I wanted it to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and lock that so it doesn't accidentally get moved again. So some examples that I've been using to group stuff, besides just doing everyone's PNGs, so I can do them separately, or I can do the group and then have my PNG and the group, which has a line of people next to it. I can move mine and the group together. So it's kind of like the Discord overlay circles, but much more personalized with everyone's image and stuff. So that's why I really like that. But another example you can use for groups and moving stuff together is like this. So I have text, and then I have the browser source, which I use for the Discord image, and that's what creates the light up effect when you talk. So it actually pulls when you're talking from Discord, but then you can just add images to it. And then I put the text on it, so I can always have my name, so everyone knows that that image is mine. And so then I have them as a group, and then that way I can move both the text and the image together no matter what. So that's just some examples of organization that I've done, and I'll re-explain this as we go through. I'm just doing some quick stuff just to show that this is organized. So these people actually aren't in Discord, so the name shows up, but until they actually show up in my voice chat, their image doesn't actually appear. So this just gives you an example of that I have this organized, but you can still tell that you got to read really carefully. You still got to pay attention, because you could still grab the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this. If you look at my YouTube one that I built, which is much nicer, we've got categories. So I've got just chatting, and then I've got my just chatting screen. I got m.s before the main scene for main scene. So I've got my starting soon, I've got my be right back, I've got my ending screen, I've got all the things that I could want or need up here with the prefix of ms. So prefix is just, I believe the definition of prefix is the gist of is to come before, prefix to come before whatever you're doing or saying. And then I've got my display window capture. Let me go ahead. These always get smaller every time I open them for whatever reason. I've got my secondary scenes. So those are the scenes that I use occasionally, but it's not in my typical overflow. Got all of my overlays with so that's SS for secondary scene. This is GC for game capture. This is MS for main scene, but I've got it as just chatting as kind of it's separate, because I do use it as a main flow, but I don't always use it. So it's kind of like a 1.5. It's in between a main scene and a secondary scene, but I should be using it enough, and it's important enough that I should use it as a main scene. SE for stream elements, and then I went to s.gg for scene.gg, so I know which overlay is coming from which website. So if I have a problem with it, I can log into the correct one and not have to go and hunt for it. I've got all my PNGs just nice and organized here. Beautiful. And I've got my images. I have a lowercase I, so you know it's an I and not a capital I or a lowercase L, so there's no confusion. And then these are just my static images that I that I have that I'm pulling in the different scenes and stuff. And then I have animated, so I have I.A for image animated. This one I was playing around with, so that one needs to go there. Don't worry about that. Now that's organized. So when I started moving over to YouTube from Twitch streaming, this is the problem that I ran into. I would go to profile, and I made a profile just for YouTube, right? Okay, cool. So now I can have my YouTube chat, and I have scene.gg, so I can force the cover art because it doesn't pull like it does on Twitch on the category, which says it's in YouTube beta, so I get it. But as long as I can control the cover art, I guess that's fine. I hate that this image keeps changing on me. And so what I did is I went to duplicate, and then just typed in, so I was going Twitch to YouTube. I already have a YouTube one, so we'll just call this YouTube, what would we call this? Example. So now if you go to profile and you go to YouTube example, I thought that I could just start here and start cleaning up, changing, because there's different websites don't work on YouTube like they do on Twitch. It's a lot more limited, and a lot of the extensions and things that you can use alongside YouTube for your streams. So I started coming in here and just started deleting the stuff. So like I'll just put an example in here. So example, and I'll just put something in here. Let's see, what do I want in here? Saw the chalice. There we go. Emote. There we go. Pretty little emote, and then I can pull that as a scene later. So, like, all right. So on Twitch I might use that, but on YouTube I might not. But if I switch over to the Twitch, you notice that example is here. So for some reason, even though I made this in the YouTube example profile, look, if I even go to the YouTube, just the regular plain YouTube channel, it's here as well. So if I delete this from Twitch profile, okay, cool, it's gone. Don't need it. You know, I'm switching over to YouTube. Wasn't something. Now that one I could use, but it's just an example of something that I didn't need, and so I got rid of it. But now it's also gone on the YouTube example. So I had already gutted like half of the things here to try to reorganize and clean stuff up that I wasn't actually going to be able to use. And then I found out all of these are linked. The difference between like the YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So you can go ahead and select it, have the little check mark next to it, and you can put remove. I wonder if delete on the key works as well. It does not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit remove. Yes. So we're back on the Twitch profile. So what the difference is between the profiles in OBS for Twitch and YouTube, for the profiles that I have set up, is the login and stream key information. So if you notice, when on the Twitch profile, I got the Twitch chat, and then I've got the Twitch stream information over here. That's because it's connected to Twitch on this profile. But if I switch over to YouTube, you have scene.gg and the YouTube chat, because now I'm logged into the stream key and stuff on my account on YouTube. So I was like, well, am I just gonna have to download a whole nother OBS, like OBS Lite or something, and so I can be able to keep both of them separate? But I didn't want to do that either, because YouTube or OBS Lite, I believe, has like a lot limited functionality compared to OBS Studios. So then I was playing around with stuff, so I figured that out, and then I went to the scene collections And I was reading this, I was like, new duplicate, remove, import, export, check, and then I saw Twitch. And I was like, hold on, so what is this? So I duplicated my... Oh, right, the YouTube profile is... So I switched scenes, but I didn't switch Twitch interfaces because I didn't switch the profile. But now if you look, now we're on my Twitch scenes and sources. So I duplicated that just to see what that did. So now on the Twitch example, we have all the scenes and sources as that one. But now if I go down here and I go example, and then we'll just throw in something. So we'll go ahead and put Chao Su. We'll put the original Chao Su in here. So now we have the image, we have the example, but if I go over to my main Twitch, it's not here. It does not carry over because the scene collection, these are your scenes and your sources. Your profiles, which is your login information, so your stream information and your chat, and then like your actual start streaming stuff like that, that's your profiles. And then your scene collections are your actual scenes and sources. So once I figured that out, then I went ahead and just started a new one, which we're going to do here pretty quick. I just want to do some explaining overall. So then I went to a new one and I just started rebuilding everything from scratch. I didn't clone the Twitch one because a lot of Twitch stuff isn't going to work on the YouTube streaming. And while I did it, I just completely reorganized everything, and I love it so much better. You can also see that I even added colors to correspond to different things. It's just so much nicer, so much cleaner. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit new. And then I'm gonna go, actually, first, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to Twitch. And then I'm gonna rename it. I'm gonna rename it to Twitch Old. I'm gonna go to a completely new scene collection. We're gonna go ahead and name this Twitch because it's gonna replace what I have already. And then look at this, completely empty, entirely brand new. So the Twitch stats and Twitch activity feed, I think that carries over with the profile because so once I go to the YouTube, that's gone. So no Twitch stats and stuff. So that's completely gone. So this is part of the profile, not the scene collection. So first thing I'm going to do over here is normally I'd rename this, and I'd rename this like main scene or whatever. But since I'm streaming this and try to help anyone following along with some of the potential shortcuts and stuff that I might be doing, I'm going to set up a scene that is going to be keyboard shortcuts. And to keep organization, I don't know, name this maybe like C.S for cheat sheet. Or cheat sheet. I mean, cheat sheet makes sense, but C.S, I wouldn't see C.S and think that. Maybe L for like legend. So we'll do a capital L for legend, and then keyboard shortcuts. And then let's add some text. So the two main things that I use for shortcuts that sometimes you forget about if you haven't edited or made anything for a while is holding Alt while cropping. Hold Alt while cropping. Moves red border. Actually, no, that's not, I don't think that's entirely accurate. So holding Alt crops red borders. That's probably a little bit more clear. So then we can go ahead and put in some text, just exactly what I just did on set on that. Go ahead and select a font. I like this because I haven't found a real script font that actually works. And then I go ahead and put it on 500 size just because you can resize it, but I found that the resolution is better if you make the size bigger and then just shrink it as opposed to trying to stretch it. Sometimes it gets all pixelated and stuff. And then you can do all kinds of things in this font. You can change color, you can do text transform, so you can do all uppercase, you can do all lowercase, you can do start case, or you can just keep it regular. So start case capitalizes every time there's a space. You can verticalize it. You can add colors. So add something like a nice vibrant light blue. You can add a gradient, which adds a little bit of color depending on how you have this. So you can have it like leaning to one side, you can lean it to the other side, you can have it just kind of like at the top, you can have it kind of there towards the bottom. You got lots of options there. And then what I like to do sometimes is play with the opacity, whatever you say that word is. And then you can really kind of mix up the words. I've also noticed that not having just a straight solid color is actually a lot easier to see sometimes. So I've been doing a lot of text with some different color coming from the background, usually just white because that's good enough. But that's just kind of my personal opinion, and what I've noticed to me looks a little bit better to look at than just solid colors. You can add a background color if you want. So let's see what yellow looks like. There you go. So you could do something like that. Yellow is bad with that color though, so let's try something like, I mean, black is going to be good, obviously. So what that does is it actually gives a black border underneath it. That way, no matter what screen it's overlaying on, it can be seen. So that's kind of nice. You have your alignments, you have your alignment center, you have your alignment right, alignment left, you have your vertical alignments as well for options. Adding outlines can be fun too, and you can increase or decrease the outline, which can create kind of some fun color combos and some different combinations of stuff. So let's see, do like a yellow. So that yellow just gives it a nice little pop. And also if you didn't put a background, you could put like a black outline or a white outline to stand out from the borders of different colors that would wash out your text color. And then you can even adjust the opacity of the gradient of the outline. So lots of options. Chat log mode, I haven't really used this. I'm not really sure what this even is. And then use custom Text extents, I have not used those either, so I'm not exactly sure what those are. Then you can just hit OK. And then just like what I was writing down, to remember if I forget, hold Alt and you can grab this red border and you can just pop this all the way up there, so it's a lot easier to move the boxes and you don't have, you know, your red sticking out all the way over here, overlapping with other things you might want to try to interact with as well. And then you can make it all nice and big if you want, or you can shrink it down so it's a lot smaller. You can get a lot more on the page, if you will. And then you can keep this as a cheat sheet for yourself, or if for some reason you want to bring this up, you can nest it in another source, and then you can actually show it on screen. So if someone's asking a question, you're like, oh, I don't remember, or here, I'll go look it up real quick, and you can just pop that on. You're like, oh, hold Alt, and that crops the red borders. And you're like, okay, so hold Alt and go grab a red border, and there you go. Next thing that I have started doing too as well is going to set color. And I was starting to use custom colors when I initially did this, but it just took so many extra steps and so much more time that I just started using the default colors. So for text, I set all my text to purple. So now, anytime I see purple, I immediately know that's a text. That helps me distinguish between images, browser sources, any kind of main thing that I would normally use. Helps me distinguish at a glance what it is. So if I'm going in to try to fix something or move something or add something, I know exactly at a glance at least what the types are, and I can filter out and exclude other things. So go ahead and add another text here. Holding or hold Control. How would I word that? Prevent snapping. And then just to save some time, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold Control and then hit C to copy. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to hit Control V to paste it in there. Go ahead and set the font just like we did before. I don't know what read from file is. I'm not entirely sure what that is either. Some of this stuff I still don't even know what is. Anti-aliasing, I believe, is a graphical option. So that looks like it's a different color, even though I'm pretty sure that's the same color we originally picked. But since I got that fade and with that yellow outline, it's looking a little different. So go ahead and just play with the gradients in the background. Go ahead and add background color just so it has a nice little background to show up on it if I use it for anything else. I think I changed that to 1 on the other one. Then hold Alt to crop that so it just moves the border but doesn't move the text itself. So apparently I did a little different in the coloring here. So if you go back to properties, I can just click a different color. There we go. I think we matched a little closer to the same kind of color. And then if you want to shrink this, I wonder, so if we go to select fonts and we go to like 250, why is that so small? Oh yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. I switched to 250, so now the resolution is so much smaller. And that's why it completely changed the sizing and the resolution of that. Now it fucked everything up, but this is why I wanted to stream this, so you can see that I am not a professional. I am just still, even though I have some streaming experience and stuff, I am still very much an amateur. And hopefully seeing me make some mistakes gives a little relatability. Let you know that you're gonna make mistakes while setting stuff up and doing things. Oops. So I don't know what I just did there, so I'm gonna hit Control Z to undo whatever I just did there. So I can go back to shrinking this. But yeah, you're potentially gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. That's totally fine. It's gonna happen, and that's fine. It's what you do about it after you make the mistake that matters. Okay, so we have hold Alt, crops red borders, hold Control, prevents snapping. And I'm gonna go ahead and add these, even though I feel anyone that uses a computer hopefully would know these, but I know a lot of people still don't. So we're gonna do hold Control, plus C, copies selected. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this. Also, you can triple click and it'll highlight everything, or you can even click in here and then hit Control A to control all, and that will select everything as well. So we're gonna go ahead and Control C and hit OK. Go ahead and Control plus V to paste that again. Go ahead and hit GA to get a shortcut on the text that I would like. Put in a 500 size. So the reason why I put it in a 500 size is because the custom text style that I like is actually smaller than regular text. So the 500 is really almost like the 250 default that it has normally for text sizes. So that's kind of the reason why I do that. Go ahead and set all of this up again. And then add the outline. Put that down to 1. Select the yellow. Hold Alt, bring that up. And if you got to be careful too, because this is actually cropping it without just moving everything else that is in here. So if you see, I'm actually eliminating what's actually inside the boundary box. So you just gotta make sure you're careful with that. But it also makes it the bounding box a lot nicer and a lot easier to use. And also when you have multiple bounding boxes, it's so nice to be able to just interact with the box around whatever you have selected, as opposed to trying to navigate different boxes and have to keep clicking down here or whatever the case might be. Also, if you look just right there on the left, I'm just barely moving it and it's snapping to the left side. It will also snap to the other bounding box if you can feel that, where I'm just coming down and it snaps right into place. The second tip that we have there, if you hold Control, now it is not snapping. So that's really nice when you're trying to butt something against a corner. Like a lot of times I have the PNGs that I'm trying to fit just right, and it keeps snapping the bounding box, but inside keeps doing silly stuff like that, or it's too far off the base, where if you hold Control, it doesn't snap, then you can put it exactly where you want it. But most of the time, I like snapping. I think snapping is good because it makes everything nice and clean and right up against each other. So that's really nice as well. So I'm going to go ahead, before we get too far, and go ahead and finish doing our color scheming here for our organization. And then This only matters the order here for your own personal preference, or if there's layers. So now that I added a background, these aren't going to be transparent. So if I pick this up and move this on top of this other one, okay, so if you look at this, so it covers up that one. I'm not sure why it's not covering up this one though. I must not have put a background. I don't think I put a background on this one. Let's so you can right click and go to properties, or you can even highlight down here on your sources, and it will actually, if you don't have it locked, if you have it locked, it won't highlight, but if you don't have it locked, it will highlight the bounding box, and then you can just double click to go into properties. Did I not put a background on this one? I did, but I didn't do the, okay, there we go. So now that's why I knew that there wasn't a background, because it was still transparent underneath. But if I do the opacity of the background, then it's solid. And this is where that matters. So you see I'm going over the Alt, but underneath the Control C for copy. And that's because of the ordering down here. So if you see, holding Alt is at the bottom of the sources order, even though it's at the top of the screen. And this works from top down. So anything on top is going to supersede anything underneath it. So like Control C will cover both the Control Prevent Snapping and the Hold Alt to crop red borders. And that's also why Hold Control covers up Hold Alt, but it doesn't cover Hold Control plus C, because that has the higher priority. So if you want to change that, all you got to do is just reorder your sources in the order that you want to make sure that they're showing at all times. So like alerts, I always have like at the top, unless I have something that I don't want to be covered by alerts, but alerts, shout outs, anything like that, I always have at the very top. So no matter what's going on in my display, they always show up and they're never blocked. Go ahead and lock these into place. And then now it's a lot nicer because you don't have to worry about conflicting bounding boxes or picking those up. So the next text I'm going to go ahead and put in is Control, Hold, Control, plus V, case, copied. And then I'm going to put clipboard in here in parentheses, if I can spell correctly, which I usually don't, just like my pronunciations, and then hit OK. We're going to go ahead and set all this up again. I'm going to start doing this a little bit faster now that I've done this a couple times for an example. Why you're not sitting here and just waiting on me constantly do this slowly. And this is one of the things where once you've done this a couple times, you can get a little faster just by doing it. And if you really want, you can actually just make sure you know what percentage it is if you want an exact replica of another text. Get that background opacity up there. Go ahead and throw that yellow in. Hold Alt to crop, and then we're going to shrink this in and then put this into place. So I'm trying to keep them not necessarily the same length, but roughly the same size text. And I'm just eyeballing it. So go ahead and lock that, color that, and then drop that down so we can just kind of keep the order going here. So another one that we'll go ahead and throw up here too is going to be Hold Control plus Z, undoes. Shell! Hello, Ninja. Toggle timestamps. Okay, I'm not just sitting here rambling and just now noticing for too long. How is the Ninja? I don't know if you use OBS Studios, but I am going through the things that I have learned for organization and how to set stuff up if you have any interest to see if it is better or worse than your setup. Let's see. How do we want to word this? Controls plus C. I don't think undoes is a word. So how about uses undo once. Hopefully that's clear enough. The Ninja is decent today. This morning was a little rough on the pain factor, but the day has slowly gotten better. Well, that is good to know. I am glad to hear that. Should you just take some ibuprofen, or is it just getting better on its own? Hopefully it's not severe enough where you have to have prescribed painkillers or something. I think we talked about this a little bit, but I can't remember. And if you have any questions on what I'm doing, feel free to ask as well. Also, the nice thing about YouTube streaming, Ninja, is down at the bottom, just like a regular video, you can actually go down and there's a slider for the duration of the stream, just like there's durations of the video. So you can rewind any part of the stream that you may have missed if you came in late, and then you can kind of catch up, and then you can hit the live button and it'll take you straight back to the actual live stream in itself. I had to take some meds this morning, but since then it's gotten better on its own. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry that that was an issue in the first place. Go ahead and color this and drop this down. If you color code as you go, it makes it a lot less daunting to do it all at once, but different people have different flows, so I understand if they want to just get everything done and then color code it. That just seems to work easier for me, because then it's done and I can just move on and it's not that big of a deal. Oh, I cut this control off. I was not paying attention to the crops of the bounding box. There we go. Yeah, maybe a little bit smaller. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. I actually don't use OBS. I stream directly off the PS5. Seems to work the easiest for me. Ah, okay. Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of the setup then. Well, if you ever get a computer or a laptop and you start streaming off of it, hopefully this video will help you, because it definitely saves me a lot of time and headache. Once you get this set up properly, it just initially takes a lot of time. One day I want to use OBS and all that. Okay, well, hopefully this will be helpful for you as a starting point. All right, what other shortcuts should I need to put on here? I think that's good to start with, and then we can start actually making some scenes and stuff, so I'm not just sitting here all day doing shortcut stuff. So now we have a reference for shortcuts. I'm gonna go ahead and add another scene here for... so I'm gonna add a little separation here. And that could be whatever you want to use. I'm gonna go ahead and put reference / cheat sheet. Now, reference / keyboard commands. And then I can pop that up, and then now we have a nice little title category, and then we have the reference material right there. And then I'm going to start doing this for everything else. So on this next part, I'm going to go ahead and do m.s. I'm going to use a hyphen and do main scene. And we're going to start just from the top down. So how I like to do it is you make a scene and then you do all the reference material you need for that scene. And then you just start building a scene at a time. That way you have that scene done and complete before you go and work on something else. All right, so main scene. What do I use on my main scene for Twitch? A big proponent of what I use on my main scene for Twitch is Stream Elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Stream Elements over here on my side monitor. I'm going to go ahead and sign in with Twitch. I probably can go ahead and... So I can sign into my Stream Elements. I can go into Streaming Tools. So go ahead and go to Stream Elements, log in, create account, whatever you need to do. Go to My Overlays. And then these are... Some of these I was just playing with just to see what they had. So I don't use all of these. But so I've got... This is kind of a mess. I need to clean this out and organize this as well. My YouTube is much better. So here's my main overlay. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit. I'm going to go up here and hit the Copy Overlay link. I don't have my Stream Deck set up for changing scenes yet, so I actually have to do it on OBS itself. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to... So I'm not going to add the browser source straight to the main scene itself. And we'll get into the reasons for that. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go ahead and put in s.e. dash or hyphen. And then I'm going to put overlay. And then I'm just going to put main. That way I know that all the overlays are sorted and I can just go to overlay and then see what the adjective is to see which one I'm looking for. So overlay main. Now I have that. I'm going to go ahead and make a new category. Let's call it overlays. And then we're going to go ahead and bump this up underneath the main scene. So now I have my main scene and then I have my overlay, which is from Stream Elements. That's the SE. MS is for main scene. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a do source. And instead of adding a browser source, I'm going to add a scene and add existing scene. So this is what we just made. So SE overlay main, hit OK. And then you can resize it, put wherever you want. Usually the main display, I just leave it at the 1080p until I start testing it and then place it where I want, depending on what I'm making, because different scenes I'll actually put in different locations. So we set up the category, but we didn't put the source in. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and add a source, and we're going to go to browser. I'm just going to call this main overlay, because it doesn't really matter if I do overlay main in this one because it's already in the source, and most likely this is the only thing that's going to be the source for that scene. So I don't really need to worry about the naming scheme too much. I'm just going to go ahead and Control V to paste that over the overlay link. 1920 by 1080 is going to be the resolution for 1080p. I always delete this because this custom CSS has caused me problems before. So I just always clear that out and then make sure I click shut down source when not visible. That way it's not running in the background when you switch scenes. You can also, like for my random clips, I'll hit control audio via OBS, and that allows you to control it through OBS instead of through your computer, through your background audio. So this allows you to individually control that specific thing, which can be really, really, really nice. I'm not sure what use custom frame is. It looks like you just set a specific FPS so it doesn't overuse your computer hardware capacity, and I really probably should start using this. So I'm going to go ahead and cap that at 30 frames per second because we'll do 60. We'll do 60 and see how it goes, because I wonder if this is why OBS keeps ramping up my GPU usage for no reason, is because I have stuff like this that's not capped. So maybe this is going to be a good practice for organization to start making sure that I have caps on my frame per second. And then we have our overlay. So now if I go over here and I go back to the Stream Elements and I emulate, we'll do another follow event, and then I'll switch back over here to the main scene to place display capture. Then you saw that I emulated it on Stream Elements, and then it showed up here on the browser source for the main overlay. Now if I go to main scene, and I'm just going to hit that same thing over there, now we have that showing up. Now if you really want to, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and emulate that. And then I like to crop it. Oh, I don't know why you're not cropping. I'm holding Alt. And I like to crop it to a little bit more to the sizing of what it actually uses. You want to make sure you use a little space because I do use clips that are a little bit bigger as well. And then I like to just make sure it fits my screen here. So it looks like that's not super even on the crop. That's a little bit better. And then right here, this is an example where it's snapping for both sides. If you hold Control, it'll keep it from snapping on the sides. So there. So now I've got a nice, big, mostly cropped overlay. So now this is on the main scene. I messed that up. I wanted to do that on the overlay main and not the main scene. That was my mistake. So go ahead and do this again and do this more properly. So that's about 432 in. So from what? From 0. So we'll do like 350 in. That's a nice thing about the new update with OBS is that they actually put the pixel count from the edge of the screen, which is really nice. So now if I emulate that, should definitely be enough space. Go ahead and enlarge this. Got that pretty well sized there. Now that looks really, really nice. Now, since I messed all this up, I actually want to go ahead and if you hold Alt and just drag all the way out, it will actually just undo the crop that you did all the way back to the bounding zone. But now, see how it fits a little bit more square inside the bounding zone? You don't really need to crop it as much. Sometimes you still have to crop it, but it fills the space a little bit better typically. And then I can put this to whatever size I want and put it wherever I want it to be seen on screen. So some people will even have like a little designated zone that's actually bordered and cropped. I just put it just right in the middle of the screen so people will have the satisfaction. If they follow, then they have the ability to see right there. Like it's definitely not missed. And then I can use the pixel on the side here to see what's going to be close to center. Then I can lock that into place, and then if I emulate it again, looks nice and neat. You can tell it's decent size or wherever you want to put it. And you can simulate other events too. Shots. And see how they look. So it looks like we did pretty good. Looks like we might have cropped a little bit to the top a little bit too much. So go ahead and unlock this. You go ahead and shrink it a bit. Go ahead and lift that up just a bit. And go ahead and put that back to where it was. Get it centered. Or as centered as I can. And then now that should fix any kind of
shots.
Okay, well maybe it wasn't cropped. Maybe that's just part of the clip.
Yes. Dance tip.
Looks like we're looking pretty good there. So now we have the overlay. So for the overlay, so that's a browser source. Normally I would color that gray, but since this is the main overlay is so important, I'm going to go ahead and color that blue so I know that that is very important. So at a glance I know, hey, this is where a lot of main stuff is. So I have the overlay. So another super important thing is to have the game capture, because without a game capture, you're not going anywhere. So I just like to put game/window capture. Then we'll go ahead and bump that underneath the main scene. Go ahead and create the game capture itself. And I like using caps. I think things look a lot nicer. So I capped a lot of things that may or may not actually need to be capped. So now we have our game window capture and we have our game window capture scene. Gonna go ahead and add a source. I usually add my window captures first. So window capture, because that's how I usually use a lot of my streaming. I'm actually using display capture currently for this, but a lot of times I'll actually use game capture for the actual games, or window capture for the actual games. So I'll just use window capture primary, or no, sorry, Windows 10. Reason why I call it Windows 10 is because in this wonderful property selection, oh Jesus, yeah, that's fine. We can just preview that window over there. Even though, so I go ahead to Windows 10. The reason I have a Windows 10 and a Windows 7 is because I've actually had issues with some games not capturing or one or the other. And you can just leave it on match type, otherwise find the same type. I've been putting it on match title, otherwise find window the same execute, just to see if it's any better at identifying the same stuff that you've already launched before or not. I haven't really decided one way or the other which is better or not. Why is this a phantom thing here? I don't know why that didn't go away. All right, let's get that cleared. It looks like that overlay might still be a little capped on the cropping, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that back a little bit more. And you don't have to do this. This is just something I do, so it keeps the bounding boxes a little bit more clean. And in my personal experience, it seems like things look a little bit nicer if you do stuff like that. So now if we go to emulate array, so now it's not cut off at all. So we have a nice clean overlay.
Dance tip.
So now on the Windows 10, we've got that done. Go ahead and do a follower event so we can clear that. Raid. Come on. Why is this raid still here? I wonder if I've got the duration too long on it. So now I'm going to go ahead and add another source. I'm going to go to window capture. I'm going to do window capture Windows 7. And if your naming evolves or changes, you can always rename it and go back and clean stuff up. So we're going to go ahead and put Windows 7 into this one. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on that just to see how that works. I don't know what this multi-adapter compatibility is. I like having capture cursor on for most stuff. So on these, Windows 10 is going to be my primary one. That one seems to be work most of the time the best. So I'm going to put that one blue, and I'm going to put the Windows 7 as green for the secondary one. Just so I know, once again, it's all about looking at a glance to see what's going on for me. So I've got Windows 10, which is the primary one. I've got Windows 7, which is the secondary one. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the display captures. So display capture is actually a different source. So display capture primary. I always like putting what it is first and then putting the adjective to describe the different variants, because that way if I'm looking for something, I'm not looking for secondary display, I'm looking for display and then primary, secondary, or primary. That way it's all in the same spot. I don't have to go hunting for it, but different people have their different preferences. I just leave this one on automatic because I haven't really had an issue with it identifying my monitors. And then I want this to be 2, which is my primary display. So now we're going to get the OBS Infinity stuff, which I was hoping not to do. But we will rectify that once I get this other display going. So display capture secondary. There we go. Go ahead and clean that up for you a little bit. And then gonna go ahead and do this one. So this is actually the OBS I'm actually currently using right now on my secondary display. So if I go over here, this is what I'm actually working with. Here's my YouTube chat and stuff. All that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get that out of here by doing another display capture. And doing display capture primary, I don't know what the actual third name is for, so I just put game cap or display capture third just to make it easier. And then that's the one that's already on next to me. And then so I'm gonna go ahead and bump these priorities and organize them how they should come off. So this way I can just like turn that off and then it will show this one. And then I can turn that one off and it'll just show this one. And then I can turn that one off and it'll just show this one. And then when I go back up the game, I can just do that one. So that makes it nice. So you can leave, like I could leave my primary display on if I wanted to. And if I'm looking for video or something's going on, it will just default to that. But I like to keep all these off. Make sure that they're sized appropriately. Because when you, for some reason, when you do these new window game captures, they do not like the size properly. Like right now, if you see, if I go to try to do this, you can see that it's going off the border. And I don't know why it does that, but if you want to fix that, you can just go to transform and you can go to fit to screen. Oh, I think some of this is an optical illusion because it puts, for some reason, this screen over here to my right, so my third screen, it must be a different resolution or something, so it always throws me because it always has the space on the sides because I don't think it's quite a 1080p resolution. I don't think it's the regular like 16 by 9. I don't know what or why, but that's just kind of how it is. So go ahead and, so I locked that one, so go ahead and click on this one so we can adjust this one. And I just matched the bounding box to the OBS, but once again, see, it's going over what this should be for whatever reason. So just go ahead and right click, go to transform, fit the screen, and lock that, and then I can get rid of the side of that. You can also go to, what is it, edit, and you can do transform that way. And there's some hotkeys, but don't use transform enough to really remember or use them too much. But fit to screen is Control F. So if you wanted to, you could go to over here, your shortcuts. And you can do Hold Control plus F. Transform to fit screen. Because that is kind of an important shortcut that you may or may not remember. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and add it into your keyboard shortcuts. So go ahead and do all of this stuff that we did earlier. That background opacity. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that word. Go ahead and put that outline up. Change that to the yellow. Bump that to 1. Fade this out a little bit. Hold Alt to crop. Let's go ahead and shrink this up. Try to make it roughly the same text size as all the other ones. Oops, that was too much. All right, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and set color. Bump that all the way down to the bottom. So now, making a nice little list of shortcuts. And that'll be a good reference if you ever need to refer back to them. Okay, so we were fitting screens and displays. So let's go ahead and do this one. Why? Oh, because I didn't have the eyeball on. You do have to have the eyeball on in order to see it, even if it is unlocked. Otherwise, you won't be able to adjust it. So these ones are snapping just fine. I don't have to fit the screen, which is nice. Except for this one, so I can just hit Control F. That fits nicely to the screen. Here we go. So now that's all done. Now I can go in here to the main scene. Oh, hold on. Nope, not done yet. So go ahead and color these. I don't use these a lot. And like black doesn't really show up a whole lot. I mean, you could, I guess I could color these as yellow. That would make sense. I don't really use that color, so that would give it different than the browser source color. And then you can see that these are all displays. That's my secondary display, and this is my main display. So just from coloring, you know exactly roughly what's going on here. Go ahead and go back to main display. Add us another scene. Go down to game window capture, hit OK. Go ahead and I color that green because that's definitely important. So I don't know why, like, this really should be blue and this should really be green because the game capture, window capture is definitely more important than the overlay. But I guess since I don't really mess with the game overlay windows as much, I just have less issues with that. The overlay is a lot of times what I color code as more important, just because a lot of times I have to actually mess with it a lot more. So that is, it should be reversed, but that's just my brain makes that fit better for me. So now we have the game capture, and anytime you want to change your game capture, you actually have to go to your game window capture scene, and then you select from here, and then anything you do over here, you go to your main scene, and it's the same thing. So that's just one thing you get used to, is instead of trying to change stuff in here, you actually have to go to the scene itself. But anytime you change anything in here, it will change every single scene call you call, or source call. It'll change every single source in any scene call that you might have. So if I put the window display capture in 10 different scenes and they're all nested, you change it once and then it'll change it in every single scene, so you don't have to go in there 10 times and change it. So that's going to be the huge benefit of nesting. So when you use the scene, that's what's called, the other term used is called nesting, because you're like putting a bunch of stuff together and then using it as a whole type thing. I think nesting is also maybe a code term, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So now I have my stream elements, overlay main. I have my game window capture. So if I really want to, I could probably just start streaming off of this right now, but I like to add a couple more things to it. So what is this? This is stream chat. So the thing is I have this stream chat here on this main overlay, but I actually don't want it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I don't really know what object is. What is object? What are the settings on this? Oh, that's for the emotes. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that so that stream chat is no longer there. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to this, and let's see. I want I want stream chat, but I don't want this stream chat. This is a dark colored stream chat. I want to have a transparent background. So I'm going to go ahead and go to new overlay. I don't want 1080p. I want a custom. I want 250 by 400. Go ahead and hit start. And the reason for that is this. The background is why I chose that custom pixel, because when I go to stream tools and I add chat, it's 250 by 400. So that's why I did that. And it just makes it easier for bounding boxes and doing stuff if you just make it the appropriate size. Not that you can't do it the other way, just this way it seems to work better for me when actually manipulating. I'm going to go ahead and go to custom. I don't want them to show permanently. I'm going to go ahead and crank them to about 60 seconds. I don't want them delayed. Background color is transparent. That's what the kind of like checkered background is. So here's where you see where I got that number. The width is 250 and the height is 400. Opacity is at 100% because I want the text to show up at full text color. Text settings though, I do want to do a custom font, and on this one I think it's Cala something for the script, or is it GA like before? I don't remember what script I use on this. Maybe it is GA. Oh, it is GA. Okay, Galata. And then you can't see it, but right here where the circle is, this is actually the custom color. And you kind of have to like actually click on it to actually get anything going here. So I want to go ahead and get my custom color going in here. Enable custom font. Size, 15 font size seems to be good for me, but different people are going to have different needs. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Overlay name. So I'm going to name it Twitch Chat Transparent. So go ahead and save. I can copy that overlay link. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to make another category. Or no, we don't have to make another category because we have overlays already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do s.e for stream elements. Twitch Chat Transparent. Go ahead and bump that underneath overlays, right underneath the main overlay. Go ahead and go into add a browser source. And I don't think yeah. So the nice thing about doing the prefixes is you can still name it Twitch Chat Transparent, and it won't yell at you for using the same name because you put the SE for stream elements before it. So it allows you to still use the same name without it throwing a fit that you use the same name. So just like before, I'm going to go ahead and use 250 by 400. Go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to start using this custom frame rate. And I want to see if I notice a performance difference by capping frames on OBS assets. So I want that to snap. Does not seem to want to snap. There we go. Go ahead and try to center this as best as I can, and then bam. Okay, so now if I go to Twitch and I go to my chat and I go blah 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 blah, and it should be transparent. So I can go to main scene now. I can go to scene. We'll go to overlays, Twitch Chat Transparent. And then if we do that again. Okay, so now we can see our box. You can even go, in order to precisely do this, you can go to properties. Oh no, it's not gonna let me. Let's go to transform, edit transform. And you can screw this up if you don't know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing, but this is a crop. So size I want 250 by 400, I believe. No, see, that's what's dumb about doing that. I'm hitting Control Z to undo this. That's what's dumb about doing that, is like it smushes what's in it. So that's why I end up just holding Alt and cropping it that way. That way I can get the proper size to see what I'm manipulating, and it doesn't screw so much stuff up. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch this page. So this is actually this Discord light up website that I use. I guess I can put this back into like Stream Elements or something. Yeah, that's fine. So I like to have this fairly decent size, and it seems like it's nicer having it kind of like up a little bit, so it's a little bit more eye level with people's attention. So that looks, during games and stuff, that looks a little bit nicer. I thought about enlarging it from this size, but 15 seems to be a pretty good size because you can still read it, you can still see it, but it's not like intrusive. So I've been going back and forth on it, but for right now, I'm just going to keep it that way. So go ahead and lock that into place. So now if anyone talks on Twitch, it will show up on that. I'm going to go ahead and color code it to my browser source. And then I'm going to bump this down, but see how it disappeared there? That's because it's underneath the game capture. So we want to make sure that it's above the game capture. This is why overlays on top are important. That way they stay on top of what you're doing. All right, so what else do we need in here? So I have my main overlay for my alerts and stuff. What do I want to put on here for like a background? I guess that's still fine. I don't want it just like a black screen. Okay. It's fine. We'll just keep working with it. So I have my main overlay. I have my transparent Twitch chat now. I have my game window capture. So what else do I need here? Well, I've been using the PNG Discord website. So I guess that would be an overlay. So let's go ahead and add that. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here. And this shows me everyone's URL that's in voice chat with me. So since I'm the only one, I can just do myself, and then I can also do the group one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the clipboard. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do PNG scale. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a PNG category title because I'm going to have a bunch of these potentially. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to put this above the keyboard reference commands, but below the game window capture and the overlays, because once I use these, I'm not going to like go back and use them a whole lot. So that's why I just have them towards the bottom, because once I set them up, it's pretty much they're just there to get pulled off of, and I don't actually go actively use them for any reason usually. But if I need to change something, then I can. And I know where it is, and I know how to get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add the browser source. So just add shale. Nope. I misnamed that. So we're gonna go to rename. We're gonna do PNG shale. That way I know what it is. Name already exists. Okay, so that's where the name conflicts come in. So fine, I'll just rename this shale PNG, just because there's not going to be a whole lot of different names in here that's going to matter. I'm going to be mostly pulling from the scenes itself, not necessarily the sources. So let's go ahead and go to properties and set all this up. In 20, 1080, custom frames. Delete all this. Shut down source when not visible is super important. Super, super important. All right. So now we have my stupid freaking original Discord logo, because since I'm using 2 OBS instances, it does not like having this. So like I can go over here and I can update the image. And then I can save it. And then it'll fix it. But the minute I go to do something else, it's going to change it right back to my Discord logo until I go back to just only having one instance of OBS. All right, well, hold on. So emote, animated, byte. What do we want to classify this as a category? So I think that's going to go with image animated. Okay. So I'll go ahead and put this right underneath the PNGs. Go ahead and go to image. PNG shale. Well, I guess it's not really PNG, it's an emote. Emote shale biting. Go ahead and go to browse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close this first. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go to my Twitch stuff. I'm going to go over to the biting. I'm going to go copy. So Control C for copy, and then I'm going to go into OBS assets. I'm going to go into images. I'm going to go into emotes. No, actually, I'm going to go into new folder, emotes, animated. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here. I like having large icons. But this is part of the rebuilding of the OBS that I've been doing as well, is I've been making sure I've got a nice folder clean with well labeled where everything is. That way, anything in here is being used by OBS in some way, shape, or form. So go ahead and go back into OBS now. Then we'll go ahead and go to browse. Go ahead and go into OBS assets. Go to images, emotes animated, bring out the big old byte, unload, apply alpha linear, hit OK. And then I like to make this fill the screen. Just seems to make things nicer when I go to add it to a different scene. Go ahead and try to center this out as much as I can. All right. 420 by 419, go ahead and lock that in place, and there you go. So we'll go ahead and put that into image animated. I actually want to switch these names. So I want to put this to animated, emote animated biting. And then I want to make this bite. I guess it doesn't matter because they're different names, so they shouldn't have conflicted anyways. But there we go. So emote animated biting. I probably should put, oh yes, it shouldn't have mattered because I forgot to put the prefix on here. So lowercase I, so you can tell whether it's an I or an L. Dot A for animated, and then to a dot, and then do a hyphen. There we go. So image animated, emote animated, biting. So what it is, what the adjective describing that, and then describing what it actually is. I know it seems kind of confusing, but the more animated emotes I have, then I can just go to emote animated, and then I can pick which one I want. So I know I'm in the group that I want, and then I can just pick the actual corresponding thing that I'm looking for. So once you get used to it, for me personally, it's a lot faster to go and find stuff. All right, so that is an image. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint that red. It is an animated image, but it's still an image. So I'm gonna go ahead and color code that as a regular image. We have all those color coded. Just make sure we're checking on our organization here. Go ahead and do that to gray for browser source. And once again, this changed again, which annoys me to no end. Go ahead and crop these out here. All right. And then back to what I was doing before I got distracted. Go ahead and bring in the scene for the PNG that we just did. Hit OK. There we go. That is now lighting up. And then I'm going to go ahead and crop this appropriately. And then put this up here. I will change that and stuff later when I can actually use that correctly. But then that one I want basically on top. That way it is always on top and you can always see whether I'm talking or not. The only thing that I would have over that really is probably the main overlay. Go ahead and set the color to gray. That way we're keeping up with our organization as we go, because it can be a pain in the ass going back through and redoing some of the organization that you didn't do the first time. So speaking of organization, I've already screwed some of this up. So rename, this needs to be G dot C dot hyphen for game capture. That way if I put any other, like if I wanted to separate out the display captures into their own little things, which I might actually end up doing for my stream deck, but I think I can call them individually within the source or within the scene, so I don't think I have to do that. But G.C, and then anytime we go to call a scene, we know G.C is where we need to go alphabetically in that list to go to game Windows capture. The PNG is already labeled with PNG, so that's the only one that I don't do, like P.PNG. But everything else I try to put the prefix in so it's well organized, and when I go to call it, I know where it's going to be just because of the prefix. So on this main scene now, we have the overlay. We have my talking PNG up here, so it lights up when I talk. We have the Twitch chat transparent, which you can't currently see, but if we go over here and go blah 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 blah, it should pop up here on the side. What? Why is that not? It's I don't know why that didn't show up. There we go. Did I just not hit enter? Oh, unrecognized command. I tried to switch tabs so fast that I didn't see that. Oh shit, I guess it doesn't matter because this is on my main overlay, so it doesn't matter what the game capture's doing. So that's nice. Okay, so regardless, that's going to be running. So we got our nice transparent text chat here. We have our game capture, window capture, which is working. Let's see, what else? What else would I want in my main scene? Well, shoutouts. Shoutouts are kind of important for Twitch streaming. You don't have to do them, but they are something that is definitely something I would recommend doing. So that's going to go into overlays, but shoutouts I want to be different. Plus, I think I use scene.gg, so we're going to need a different organization for that anyways. Sorry, you don't need to, but I like to because stream elements and scene.gg, depending on your overlay, can get confusing, for me at least. So having them separate is nice. So go ahead and create our category here. Go ahead and bump this underneath overlays. And then do scene.gg underneath the overlays. So I'm gonna actually clarify my organization here. So I'm gonna do overlay scene.gg, and then on here I'm going to do overlays stream elements. And then, so now we have our overlay stream elements with the SE prefix, and then we're going to have our overlay scene.gg with the s.gg prefix. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and go to s.gg, shout out main. Go ahead and drop that in the category here. Okay, so that means I need to go over here and log into scene.gg. All right, so I believe I am on the Twitch one. So where are shoutouts? Shoutouts down here. So copy. I'm gonna go ahead and add a new source. Go to browser. To shoutout or scene.gg shoutout main. Paste in the URL 1920 by 1080. Use custom frames. Do 60. Shut down when not using. All right, so now if I go to here and I go shout out Cheshire Smoke. Oh, well, I guess I gotta actually do it, don't I? Shout out Cheshire Smoke. There we go.
Yes.
No, I'm a Stargate girl. Fuck that shit.
I mean, I also like
They've got time travel in Stargate.
Yes.
Yes, I know that.
They didn't do it to go save whales, but it is there.
Yeah, no, I would much rather keep my feet on land. I don't want to be in space. I am very much on the same side of Bones out of Star Trek on
You
that
wouldn't
one.
like Stargate either.
Because
they're in space half of the fucking show.
I am not going anywhere near a goddamn Gaul ship. Fuck you.
That's part of being Stargate.
No, it's not. I am not a fucking Gaul. I am
really
not a
is.
Jafar. No, you can
It
keep
doesn't
your
matter.
fucking
You're gonna
symbiote
You're gonna
bitch.
fucking get captured
No.
or something.
No.
And you're gonna be on a fucking
No.
Gaul ship. Or
No.
a Tok'ra ship.
No.
Or fucking whatever the alien fucking...
All right, so now that's working. I can go into main scenes now. I can go into scene, grab that shout out. And having this s.gg shout out main is going to be super important because I also use a stream elements shout out. So let's do this again. See what clip we get this time.
Fucked all of us. You know what? Come out!
So see how nice the video is cropped now?
Where are your wings now?
So the video is really nice and cropped, and that's because I cropped that in the source itself. So now The bounding box I'm totally fine with. I could probably bring it into the edges a little bit, but I'm not going to. So I like to have it a decent size to see the clips. But I don't want to like completely obscure everything. So right there is probably about good. There we go, 628. Okay, so we got that going. So now, before I test that again, I'm going to go ahead and add the stream elements shout out. So here's shout out for this. So shout out for stream chat and shout out. So once again, poor organization, I need to fix that. That's for a different scene entirely. So this is going to be the main shout out. And I'll go back and clean all this up eventually too. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. So do s.gg, or no, this is stream element. So s.e hyphen shout out our stream element shout out main. Go ahead and bump that into the stream elements overlays. Also, before I forget, go ahead and set the color of this to gray, so it's a browser color. Go ahead and add the browser source. Stream elements. Shout out main. So click 3 times, Control V for paste. 1920 by 1080. Use custom frame rates. 60. Delete all that. Shut down when not visible. So now this one's different. This one has like the image and the name, which I really, really like. And so I use these in conjunction with mine, with the video ones. So I like this. It's got the name and stuff. It's really clean. It's really nice. And that gives them a little bit of a preview right before the video clip, so they know who and what they are and stuff. Go ahead and go to this main scene and go ahead and call that in the nest. So stream elements, shout out main. Okay. Now I want to resize this, and then I'm going to try to position this during the video clip to try to make it all nice and clean.
Take it on these guys.
So it's kind of nice because
outside of the integration, is there any sort of like multiplayer or like connection between people who are playing the games?
Not as far as yet.
so it's nice because it actually shows the name and the image before the video clip because of how things work. So that's really, really nice. I like that. I didn't even have to fuck with the timing or anything. It just kind of works out that way.
Wait,
I might need to shrink this though. I don't really want to shrink it though. It's already pretty, so I'm gonna have to reposition it.
Motherfucker.
Alright, so go ahead and set the color to gray for browser source. Do that for this as well. And then I'm gonna have to unlock this and I'm gonna have to move it. It's also kind of small. I want to go ahead and make this a little larger. Let's just go ahead and see if we can get a good position here.
Stop wiggling, damn it!
Is this Dead by Daylight?
What? Alright, we're almost there. There we go. I think that's a good.
Oh crap!
Got the hat.
It's got the hat.
No, no. I thought we were having fun, Smokes,
We were!
but apparently not.
We were, let go!
Alright, so that
Tiffany
is
just yeeted your hat
where I
into
want
the
it to be.
stack.
Now I just need to move this where I want it to be. I think that's good.
Right, that's it. Oh, fucking Jesus, mother of fuck!
Alright, well, let's see how this looks now. So there's the text and the image, and then the
Perfect.
video.
On top.
Need the video to play on top of that.
Jesus.
And this is where
Christ.
the layer organization matters.
Top and bottom and front. Hey, righto.
So we'll do one of me now.
I don't want to do this
Really
anymore!
toxic.
I don't want the same coffee he's getting.
Alright, so that looks like it's working properly now. So that's all lined up and nice and clean. We got the order correct now, so this will play, or no. Stream Elements will play, which is the logo and the name. And then the video clip is higher priority, so it will cover this. So see the nice little logo, and then the video will play on top of it, and then it will fade out. It's a really, really nice effect. I like it. I haven't seen a whole lot of people use more than just one shout out. Seeing that GG does have a timer. Well, let's just look at what. Okay. Oh no. So I will need game cover art. I will need cycling screenshots. I've never really done this poll. Let's see what this poll looks like. So s.gg which poll, and sometimes the reason I'm saying like Twitch whatever is so if I'm in there doing stuff, I know just by the name where I'm at, if I'm on the YouTube scene collection or if I'm on the YouTube one. So Twitch poll. Go ahead and do a browser source. Oh. Go ahead and set all of this up. Create a poll. Question. Testing. Responses. Yes. No. Hi. Other. Allow additional votes? Sure, why not? No one's in here anyways. 1 minute? Yeah, 1 minute's a good test. So start poll. Okay. So it's just a little like notification, I guess. Progress bar? I'm not sure what you would actually like call this. There we go. Guess that's probably as best as we can get. So how does it... Oh, okay. I apparently cropped too much. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is cool. Oh, okay. I might actually have to like use this. Okay, that pole cult thing is pretty cool. This one. Oh, it's still... Okay, I guess I just can't crop that just in case it... Oh, I mean, I've got to crop it a little bit, I would think. Okay, so that looks like probably the biggest it would get, I would think. Leave a little extra room just in case. This is pretty cool. I might have to start using this. Alright, so now we have the Twitch poll, so we're gonna go ahead and go to Scene. Go to Overlays Twitch poll. Go ahead and add that. And I can add that like over here, I guess, or something. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And then people can see the little poll results, and I can always move that somewhere else, but that's not a terrible spot just right there. So, browser source. Put that just underneath the main overlay. Because we want it to show over the shoutouts and stuff or whatever's going on, even though they shouldn't even be over there, so it shouldn't matter. So, that's cool. That's something that I'm not actually have used before. So what else in s.gg would I want to use? There's a subathon setting that I have no intention of using. Here's a timer. I mean, you can always put a timer on just in case you need a timer for some reason. 5 minutes. Alright, let's see what the timer is. S.gg. Twitch timer. And that is going to be an overlay, so we'll put that underneath that. Oh, we put the Twitch poll underneath stream elements, not scene.gg. Alright, browser source. Twitch timer. Use custom frame rate. Alright, go back to this. Shut down when not using. Just a nice, simple timer. Make it large. Doesn't seem to want to snap to the cropped lines for whatever reason. That's good to know. 41, 35, 38, 38. There we go. Bam. All right. Go ahead and add the scene Twitch timer. And see how it's basically kept the crop that I had when I cropped it in the source. That's a lot of reasons why I do that. And I make it large, that way it has a nice resolution. That way when I shrink it down, it's really, really nice and sharp. I don't know what I'd use this for, but like, it's here. If I find I need a timer for something, I can go ahead and use that. I might use it for like a workout timer or get up and move timer. It was probably more precise. So this doesn't really need to be like in front of a lot of stuff here. Go ahead and turn that off. So now we have that availability if we want to use it. Social bars. I don't even know what any of this is. Include Twitch channel. So how does it... Oh, it's probably linked to the profile, but I have... Do I have both? I might have both linked. Okay, yeah, I do have both linked. I'm in widgets. That's where all this stuff is. And then if you want like an intermission screen, they've got preset overlays. The stuff like this is really nice. So you can have your face camera, but then you can have the game cover art and what's going on. There's some starting soon streams, even with timers already included. Oh, this one's like freaking out when I like look at it. Which the random clips is something that I use this for as well. I'm trying to remember where the hell... Shout out, cycling, random clips right here. That's where you grab that. But I use that on a different scene. So I'm trying to think of what else I need in this main scene. I think this main scene is pretty much done. I think the main scene is pretty much done. I'm trying to think of what else I might need for it. Main overlays, shout out timer. I've already added this to... Oh. So, I like having a border on my main screen PNG. So, PNG shell. Bordered. Alright, how do you spell bordered? Oh, it is that way. Okay, just checking. So go ahead and hit OK. Go ahead and bump this up right underneath PNG shale. Go ahead and... Oh, no, I want to go find the border picture and get that organized in here. Right here, copy that. So that's just a Control C that I did real quick by highlighting it. Control V to paste. Now it's in images. Now I can go back into my OBS. Go ahead and go to image. Shale. So let's go ahead and drop in the border. Go ahead and color that to red. I don't know if I colored some of these, so let's go ahead and... I did not. Make sure we keep up with our organization here. If it's blue, I definitely know it's not right because it should be like a light blue. All right, there we go. Oh, I completely renamed that wrong because I was thinking of the PNG. All right, rename. Frame border. All right, got the frame border. Let's go ahead and bring in the PNG. So we're gonna go add existing. We're gonna go to shale PNG. Hit OK. And I'm gonna have to fix all of this later, but there's a way to, if you go to transform, is it actually, if you hold shift, yeah, there you go. If you hold shift, you can actually move the whole thing, but it kind of smushes it. So it does like stretch that. There's a way to do it, I thought, without deforming it, and I can't remember. Is it, what does control shift do? Oh, that's still smushing it. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so transform. Edit transform. I know there's a way to do this without fucking everything up. So position, I don't think position is size, maybe. So let's try like 950, 800 or 980. Try 850, 750, 650, 550. Okay, so I think that's doing the same thing as like holding shift, because it looks like it's getting smushed. I thought there's a way to do it without getting smushed. It might just have to get smushed. I don't know. I don't remember how I did this last time. Stretch to bounds, scale to inner bounds, scale to outer bounds, scale to width, scale to height, alignment center, crop. No, that's not it. Let's see. Scale to inner. Well, that definitely did something. I don't know if it did what I wanted to do. All right, let's undo all that. Oh well, I'll fiddle with that later, because that might take me a little bit to figure out what I want to do with it. But eventually I can get this resized. I think what I do is I make this larger so the smushing on the sides with holding shift isn't as prevalent, but I'll have to get the actual PNG in here, not my logo, in order to do it anyways. But I'll go ahead and set it up so I can go ahead and manipulate it when I do get in here. So I want the PNG to be above the border. So we're gonna go ahead and add the text. So text shale. Go ahead and do my typical font stuff. Get that nice orange in here. Throw that gradient on. If I lower it down, it actually makes the orange a little darker, so makes it look a little nicer. Go ahead and do the outline. Turn that to black. Go ahead and pop that up a little bit. Got a nice gradient scale colored name here. So now what you can do is, first of all, we're going to color that to purple. But now we can create a group and we can move all of this at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, hold shift, click all of them, and then we go in here and go to group. We're going to go do group shale board. And now everything is in this folder. So So if I want to move it, oh, I guess they're not in the folder. Okay. So let's go ahead and click and drag and add those to the folder. Now they should be in the folder. Yes, so now they're in the folder. So now you can resize, you can move it, you can do whatever you want. And all of these are going to stay together. So once you get it set and you put it in that group, you can move it all at once, which is super, super nice. So I don't have to move everything individually. So that is definitely useful to know how to use correctly. And then I can go up here and go to main source. I can hide that one, and then I can go to scene. I can add a PNG shell bordered. And now I can put that up there. Why the hell is my name so faint? I think I put the opacicy on the wrong thing. I thought I just did that for the color, not like the whole thing. Why is that so light? Like, I can't... Maybe it's just because it has like white in the color, I guess? No, I feel like it's definitely like transparent. But it doesn't look transparent here. So if I unhook this, yeah, no, it is transparent. Okay, how do I fix that? I guess I just have to leave it at full color. And then just increase the gradient color. I guess I can just use a darker color of orange. Doesn't look too bad, but that is darker than I would like it to be. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm gonna add that, see what that looks like. Doesn't look really any different. So let's go ahead and select that color and just make it darker. A little better. All right, now let's see what it looks like. I mean, it's better. I can still barely see it, but it'll look better once it'll be like cropped properly and stuff. I might need to add more outline. So we'll add a 16 outline. Yeah, that definitely makes it show up a little bit better. And then I'll mess with that more once I actually have the availability to use my proper PNG, which is this one right here. So let's see. I think that is probably all for the main scene. Oh, no, it's not. No, I lied. I got blurps to do. I got sound alerts to do. I'm looking for Twitch dashboard. This has changed since the last time I used blurps, so I have no idea where the damn URL for this is. Streamer dashboard? Maybe? Oh yeah, this is a whole different thing. Connect browser. Okay, so that's looks like the URL that I need. So let's go ahead and name this sound alerts. Go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this underneath the overlays. Then do blurb. We'll do s.a for sound alert. Blurb. Go ahead and pop in that browser source. (1920 by 1080). Use custom frame rate. Change that to 60. All right, so let's do a test.
Run back home, little princess.
That's totally not creepy as fuck. It's definitely working.
I suppose you think that was terribly clever.
Man, they must have changed the like overlay for the blurb alerts because that looks nice. That looks super sharp. Okay, so let's go ahead and center this up. All right, so we got blurb alerts. Go ahead and color that before I forget. See what else I forgot to color. Oh no, these, I think everything's colored now. All right, cool. We've been keeping up with organization. So now we're gonna go ahead and go into scene. Go ahead and find that SA for blurb. Let's go ahead and test again. So we get sizing.
Activate the photonic cannon.
Oh god, the photonic cannon. I remember that. So right there is probably good. That was fucking loud. Oh, it's probably a good size. Man, that new like alert that they did looks really sharp. Like the border that they use for it. All right, so we want that. Go ahead and keep that up towards the top. So we have the blurps now. So now we need to go to the sound alerts. Where do I get the URL for this? Alert settings, maybe? Where? Where do I get it? Where do I get the URL? Is this it? Edit? Is it in here? Save alert design, test in browser. Probably could like maybe put a picture or something on that now. Dashboard. Where does one get the URL? I just don't remember. Is it test browser source? Yeah, I don't have it on. My sound alerts are offline. Well, then how do I get them? Scenes? What are scenes? Create your first scene. I'm not sure what that is. Settings? Is it in here? Manually approved text to speech. A whole bunch of stuff in here that I don't remember ever looked at, I don't think. Setup. Hey! Here we go. I'm not ready to use that. Alright, that's copied. So we're gonna make a new thing called S.A sound alerts. Because it's actually just called sound alerts. Go and pop that browser in. Hit tab to go to the next frame, and then just go ahead and override what's in there. Let's go ahead and play test. That is super loud. Holy crap. I don't want the guide. I just want to go and... Let me test my alerts because I think I changed... Yeah, I think I changed the volume on these to be appropriate. Yeah, that's not too bad. So it's a great little music thing.
Hello?
Hello. So it's this one.
Power levels 8,000. How?
Yeah, those volumes are good. So let's go ahead and go into Scene SA for sound alert and go to sound alerts.
Power levels 8,000. How? Wait, it's over 9,000.
9,000. Let's see. This is a good one.
I'm going
Off the rails like a crazy train.
I'm going
Off the rails like a crazy train. Alright, that's pretty close to center there. Go and lock that in. Alright, so we got the alerts in, we got the shoutouts in. What else do we need to do? I need to get my treat streams in so people can buy me food while I'm streaming. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened. I would definitely prefer food over subs, but that's just me. Hi, Cheshire.
Hi, love.
Oh, when you're trying to click on OBS because it's doing the same screen and not the actual screen that actually controls anything. Well, I need to color this before I forget. Well, now that you're in here, it shows me, but I don't have the group PNG stuff in here, so I am gonna go and grab. Well, shit.
Do what you're doing. You're fine.
So what prefix would treat streams be? Isn't? I mean, I guess it's kind of like a sound alert, but it's not really. I'll just do T for treat. TS for treat streams. Go ahead and add that browser source. Aren't you home early?
I was supposed to have D&D today.
Oh, so you just woke up.
No, I've been up for a while. I went and had a shower and shit.
Oh, okay. So treat stream, I guess we'll go ahead and put that underneath. that. Let me go ahead and do the PNG group real quick. All right. Oh, it doesn't have your PNG on it.
Why not?
Because I'm using 2 instances of OBS and I don't think it likes it. Yeah, it has your PNG saved, but it switched to your Discord one because it does not like me having 2 instances of OBS open. Let's go ahead and link that PNG group real fast. Oh yeah. Go ahead and put it up here for now, and I will fuck with that later. Because I can't properly size that until I get my one done correctly. So we're gonna just go ahead and smush this for. Whoa, what is going on here? That like freaked the fuck out. What are you doing? Well, it does not like what I'm doing, that is for sure. Alright, well, that'll be good enough for right now anyways. That should look a little bit better. Yes, that looks a little bit better. We can go ahead and scoot that over a little closer. There we go. And there we go. That's good enough for right now. I can fuck with it more later. Okay. So, treat streams. That's what I was doing. So did your session get canceled then?
Yeah.
So, I think that is pretty much it for the main scene. So, I know I was explaining and taking time to show and do stuff, but that was like 2.5 hours of just setting up one scene. Between doing the organization, getting files and folders where they need to be, making sure everything is colored how they should be, keeping everything titled and nicely categorized. I'm gonna go ahead and check and make sure everything is appropriately colored. Make sure we keep up with that organization. Got the blurb, got the sound alerts. Got some basic PNGs. And our handy dandy cheat sheet keyboard legend, key legend? I don't know. The cheat sheet reference sheet down here. Definitely could probably add more to these, but this is definitely a good start. And if you really wanted to, you'd come up to this main scene, go to scene, go to whatever it was called, L for keyboard shortcuts for legend, hit OK, and then you can have a nice, neat cheat sheet. Oh, I did not do the background for that one, so let's run down this. So this is where nesting the scene is nice. So I think it was this one. We can go to, nope, that one's background is there. Which one didn't have the background all the way? That one's got it. Maybe it was just that like 2% that I was seeing. Yeah, it's solid now, so it must have been just that 2%. So now everything's all nice and blacked and easy to bring up on screen. So now you could, while you're doing stuff, you could just have that like down in the corner so people can see the nice little shortcuts. And then this is text, so go ahead and color that purple and then bump that as far down as we can, because I don't think I'm ever going to really bring this up on screen, but if I'm ever in OBS or whatever and I'm working on something, then this is always nice, like nice little thing I can pop up just to give people some ideas what they can use for shortcuts. But I think that's pretty much everything I can think of to add, besides just adding a whole bunch. Well, I guess I can go ahead and do a group here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to group. Do PNG group. Go ahead and hit OK. Name is already in use. So I'll go PNG group MS for main scene. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit click and then hold control click for these PNGs and drop them into that folder. Then you can collapse the folder if you want to. Now all this should be nice and together. And then you can expand it as you need, but now that they're all together, now you can move everybody at once all together, which is really nice if you want to move some stuff around. Probably can go ahead and do that. There we go. That's starting to look like what kind of almost what I want it to look like. And then for this, I do it red just because even though they're browser sources, I think of PNGs as images, and then I have a lot of browser sources already in my main screen, so it just kind of helps stick out because I do go to that folder specifically a lot. So that way I can see what's going on a little bit better, because there's a lot of gray in this from all the browser sources, which is another reason why I use blue for the main overlay and green for my capture, so they stick out a lot better. But I'm definitely liking the organization that's going on in my new Twitch streaming setup for OBS and the scene collection. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the OBS part of the stream right now.